Go ahead and mute this. That way I don't have to hear it. And everything should be up and running. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Creepypasta. Welcome to the office. I do have Rainer Lewington with me. Thank you, Rainer. I appreciate it. Uh, People may just come in and or pop in. When they do, I'll let people know. Uh, but as of right now, let me see. Uh, Hold on, let me pull up other stuff here. Okay, well, it's just me and Rainer talking to ourselves. Great, awesome.
Don't worry. I can assure you more people will come here soon.
Yeah, I know. It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Just play everything by ear and see who decides to come here. That is usually how these things go. Of course, we'll be promoting this for you so that hopefully more viewers will come.
Yeah. Hello, people. We already have two. All right. Well, this is pretty much just celebration for reaching 200 subscribers. Yay.
And congratulations, by the way, on that.
Oh, it was bound to happen anyway. So I'm just glad that it happened. But it comes with the territory, and I'm glad that it happened sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. And
Hold on. Let me go ahead and mute my mic real quick. I have to cough. Oh God, that sucks. So how have you been, Rainer?
I've been doing really well, honestly.
Good. What have you been up to? Because I haven't really spoken to you in a long while.
Oh wow, your voice changed.
Yeah, thanks to the vape.
It goes a little bit slower.
Lower and deeper.
Sure. I like it. Um, I've been working a lot on that YouTube series that I've had going. The one on mental health that I've been working on called Dark Disorders. And I've been taking it from a very clinical perspective as far as the information that goes into it, the work, and just the process of making each episode. I always have at least 3 to 4 sources per video, and I always cite everything clearly in the video.
Nice.
Huh. I got mass dislike. Lovely.
Hey man, you gotta start somewhere. But you're doing good work. That's always a good thing. Spreading the awareness and whatnot.
Hmm. I'm always going to get mass dislike, though, even though I'm doing something that is considered very good. I have a lot of friends in the mental health field who love what I do, but the problem is that people are not quick to go and view those sort of things, or if they want to try and work with me, there's always that fear of, oh, are we going to get dislike botted too? And the people who run this sort of thing, they usually have issues themselves. It's not a bad thing, and it's not me taking a knock at them. It's just they have their own issues that they work through. This is a therapy for them. It's a form of therapy for them. So to see a huge amount of dislikes would immediately be just this massive blow to them. So if
Yeah.
people are a little bit afraid of that, and I don't blame them.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
if you let the dislike bar really get to you, it will overwhelm you easily, and that's something that you have to consider when you're wanting to do stuff on YouTube, and you already have a reputation from other spheres.
Right. And I mean, I can definitely understand that. And I've watched a couple, like one on, I believe it was the depression one.
Oh yeah.
And well, I mean that hits hard because I'm sort of dealing with that right now. But I'm working through it, but it's no big deal. And when I watched it, I was like, well, this is spreading awareness for it. So it's always for a good. It was for a good cause. The intention was there, so I didn't see any harm in it. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's up?
Thank
What's
you.
happening?
Now, I really appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. So again, this is just a celebratory thing. We're
Okay.
celebrating 200 subscribers just for you three who had come in just now. I'll probably want to do a couple narrations. Rainer, if you'd like to do a couple, that's fine by me.
Narration is done on my channel, but I'd love to keep it alive everywhere else.
Oh, okay. No big deal.
It's dead on my channel, but I love keeping it alive everywhere else.
Does anybody else still ask you to do narrations
Oh
or
yeah, I've
no?
got a few projects I'm actually working on currently. One of them just came out today. It was with Miss Monster, and I had a lot of fun on that one, by the way. Um, but one thing that I've noticed a lot of is that I do a lot better with narrating on other people's channels than my own. And especially so if it's my own work or if someone else is narrating my work, it's a lot better received than if I were to do it on my channel.
Nice.
So it's just the way everything works because everyone has their favorite people that they listen to, and it's fantastic that you reach 200 people who love to listen to you. So I think that's great. That's always a good milestone, and it's one that's hard to genuinely reach usually. So congratulations to you on that. My sincerest congrats.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, definitely. And I really hope that you're able to keep a active listener group or following with you for the many months or years to come, because that's probably the hardest thing to do.
Oh, definitely.
Mm.
If you all have any questions you all want answered, you all can ask freely. And if, like, we're doing a narration and you think of a question, put it in the chat and we'll get it to it once the narration is done. Um, do you have a narration that you want to do, or?
Oh, I have plenty that I can do. Let's see here. Part of what is great about having my own website where I post my own stuff is that it's not hard to find what I want to look for.
Oh
It's not
yeah,
like Reddit. It's not like Reddit where I have to dig through my own history and stuff for it. I can always just be like, oh, it's right here.
right.
Yeah. That's something that Reddit's never going to have on me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, man. I think I need to do one more poem, and then I'm going to send off those three to. Oh, I think I can already send three. Yeah, I have three poems that I wanted to send to the Dark Somnium since he really enjoyed a lot of the poetry that I sent to him during his last live stream. He wants to narrate more of it, so I'm thinking of sending him three poems, that being Quitter, Deep Breath, and Please Kill Me. That Please Kill Me one is not sarcastic. It's not sarcastic. And I'm
I
sorry if
I
I
never
forget anyone.
I actually never thought anything of it. I actually was like, hey, well, that is actually a pretty good sounding name for it.
Mm-hmm.
So no worries, no worries.
Of course. So what would you like to hear?
You can play anything you want.
Oh boy.
It's no big deal to me. You can play whatever you want.
I think we're gonna go with Quitter. It's my most popular poem. at least on my website.
Okay, not a problem. And hello to the two other people in the watching. I do hope you're enjoying this up till now. Feel free to type in the chat if you'd like. If you have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat. Oh, well, hello.
Alrighty here.
Oh yeah, that's me also watching. I forgot. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my god. It's alright. More people will likely come later.
Oh yeah.
So this poem is one I wrote called Quitter, and it is actually based off of a case of abuse that was horrific to me, and I wanted to immortalize it artistically to represent what people are like when they're ignorant to a child's plea, and why it can be so scary for anyone, especially a child, to have to experience what some people consider to be therapy. And that's why I always have that in the back of my mind of it's not because I want to try and look for the youngest denominator to work with as a psychologist, but it's because I want to make sure that I'm working with that what I'm doing isn't going to harm the most vulnerable person in the room, because as a psychologist, you want to help, not hurt someone's mental health and well-being. If what your therapy is going to do is likely going to harm someone, especially a child, you do not deserve to work as a therapist. You do not deserve to have that sort of responsibility, in my opinion, if you're voluntarily going to do that. But that's just my opinion. Um, Here is the poem. It is based off of a case where therapists actually put a girl under a blanket and did a therapy where they tried to do a rebirth of her, and she ended up suffocating under the weight of 670 pounds worth of human, and and she died under there, having suffocated and died from her injuries. And I say injuries because she was having issues breathing and her neck was damaged because of the pressure that all of these therapists put on her. Sorry, that was a long intro.
Oh, take your time.
Here we go. Here's Quitter. Why don't you struggle? Is it because you do not want to be free? Do you not struggle because of your past, your trials, your tribulations? Do you lack love? Do you not love your mother, father, sister, brother? Do you not love people? Do you not love yourself? Is there any love in your heart? Quitter. Why do you hate yourself and others? Do you not feel any love, any sympathy, any compassion? Or do you not want that? Quitter. No, you're a bad child. You are supposed to be a gift, a special gift, straight from God. Honor your mother and do as you're told. Maybe you need something else, Quitter. You have no clue how much you owe your mommy and your daddy. You need to be taught a lesson. Stay under the blanket and count to 10. Feel that pressure, Quitter. The pressure is good. You are being reborn. You have to force your way out, back into this world, so that you can face your parents with joy in your new life, Quitter. Squirm, fight, hit. It will do no good. You must push your way out and be reborn. You must become their special gift, Quitter. Cry and plead. I hear none of it. Puke and defecate. It does no good. Scream and shout. You've learned nothing. Go ahead and die. You're a quitter. 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 You gave up on your own life. Yes, dark, sad, and horrific.
Nice.
It always gets to me every time I read that. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was that that is intense. Excuse me. All right, so we have two questions. Sorry. Spades of Death asks, this might be a cliche, but what's your favorite creepypasta? And then he
Uh,
added, better yet, what is the favorite story? Is there a favorite story that you've narrated?
oh, my favorite creepypasta story without a doubt is Braska. It was so scary of a concept to me when I first found out about it. And spoilers for anyone listening if you haven't read the story or heard, say, for example, Mr. Creepypasta's rendition of it, just plug your ears for about 10 seconds. It's literally a ring around the town made out of like a child like sex organization that like pumps out kids for the residents of the town. It's so horrific that it was under everyone's noses, and when one of the guys finally finds out, everyone hushes him because everyone else is infertile. No one is able to produce kids, so everyone just stays quiet to accept the fact that none of them are going to be able to make kids. So they let this ring continue so that they can have a family.
Nice.
Yeah, it's horrifying to me.
Well, mine would probably have to be either one of two. Both of them I've made and I wrote myself. Number one would be You're Never Alone, which is the featured video on my channel. Like, if you ever waltz into my channel and you're a new subscriber, that's the video you see first. It pretty much is about a young man who is struggling with depression and is contemplating suicide, and someone steps in and says, no, don't do it, because it's not good. There are people out there who are like you. He leaves and comes back and brings other people, unbeknownst to the person trying to stop this. But he's been away for so long that the young man is contemplating suicide again. And that's when he says, okay, well, I've got all these people here. You're not alone. So, you know, don't do it. And the second one I also wrote, which was Will Someone Save Me? Which I wrote in a very dark circle. Very, very dark. Um it's pretty much like if you've ever felt like something weighing you down on your shoulders and just talking to you in your ear, that to me feels like what depression is.
Nice.
Um, and it's always um, like telling you you're not good enough, and and you're good enough, and you try everything, and it just doesn't matter. He's always going to be there, or she, depending on who you are. And that one was just kind of, well, that one hits home more than the other one, but yeah, those are the two of my favorites. If I had to pick a favorite creepypasta, it would probably have to be Autopilot. I
Oh,
love that story. Never narrated it, wanted to, haven't yet.
the
Yet.
story I want to narrate the most, well, it's not a story. Excuse me. Well, I scratch that. It's two. Two. They're both by the same author, but I haven't narrated them. I wanted to so badly, but I haven't done it yet. And that would be, of course, Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven and his story, The Telltale Heart.
Yes, I've done The Raven. I want to redo it because I feel as if I didn't really give it a good send off. Like I want to do
Oh,
better with it.
oh, Mr. Lonely Dark is here.
Hey man, how's it going? And thank you, I appreciate that. Oh, and before any other questions, when is Sarsha 3 part 3 coming out? Soon. I have to kind of keep tabs on it and redo it and whatnot, but I will definitely be getting it out by this week, if not tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest. So
Oh my God. I was asking on Twitter what they wanted from me this week, and I was like, well, I'm supposed to be working on a novel, which I haven't really done too much work on. I have my general outline and everything already written out, but I haven't done any work on the chapters yet. So I'm like, you know what? I'll see. Maybe I'll test the waters and try something different. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck with writer's block for a week, and that's not productive at all. So I'm like, well, let's see what Twitter wants as far as the story goes. And it's crazy. Almost everyone on Twitter, like aside from like the group wanting an actual story, told me to take a break in the poll.
well, yeah, you need to take a break. You don't need to be, working so hard. You do need to take a break.
November though. I haven't written anything since November, and I have a few poems almost done. I could easily just put those out, but they're not quite to the same quality that I'm used to.
Right. It's no big deal. Take a break, come back to it. It's going to be here when you get back.
Yeah.
You need it. It's the holidays. Relax, enjoy it.
One of the things that I'm excited for, I should say, I guess, is that story that everybody else wants to see, and I don't blame them. It is actually based off of a true experience that I had, or rather, I should say that my sister had. I don't know if it's related to me. It's related to me completely, but I don't know which perspective to do it from. Is my sister stalked my stalker in high school? She waited in the back of the library, listening behind cupboards, so that she could hear a private conversation being had between my stalker and her mother, who was the librarian at the time. And oh my God, it's just so creepy. It's so creepy. I
You'll
don't, I
have
don't, I don't really want to spoil it, but it's so creepy.
you'll have to send it to me when it's done.
I don't know which perspective to do it from. I don't know whether to do it from my sister's perspective and just say, "Oh, this is what happened," or go from mine and say, "Well, my sister did this. She did this, did that, and then listened in and heard this, and this is why you should never stalk your stalker."
I would definitely do it from your sister's perspective because then it gives it a little bit more of a
I don't know
I've
because
been there.
I know it's like it gives it a sort of I've been there, but doing it from my perspective is just like I wasn't there, but my sister was in danger while listening to this.
Oh,
That's what I'm thinking.
how is
Like
she doing?
she's doing good. She's doing
Good.
all right. We went to a celebration for Hanukkah yesterday in San Antonio, Texas. That was actually really nice to have over there. There was a
Nice.
Israeli
That's good.
band by the name of Moshav that performed. They were really cool.
I've
Uh,
never been to any kind of like a Jewish uh, celebration, so I that would be an experience.
there's nothing that really like there's no stereotype anyone can tell you that's going to come up that is like, oh yeah, this is exactly how they do it. The only thing that someone could tell you that's going to happen is that they're lighting candles on a menorah, which is the actual symbolic centerpiece for religious ceremonies. But the reason it's so important is because it was during a time where the Syrian Greeks, occupied parts of Israel, what is now Israel, and a band of Maccabees, which are the warrior Israelis, ended up fighting them off and defeating the Greeks and freeing up their land and the holy temples. So what they went to do was they went to go and light the menorah to be able to pay respect and pay victory to their god Adonai. But they only had enough oil for one day, and it would take 8 days for them to go and manufacture more oil. And just fresh from a victory, you're supposed to light the menorah. So they lit it with oil and left it, and for all intents and purposes, it was a miracle because the oil that was supposed to last for only one burned for 8 days.
Nice.
And that's why almost every Jewish family is going to light a menorah during the festivities of Hanukkah near Christmas, because that is when the great victory was had.
That is interesting. I've only been, I'm Christian, so every Christmas Eve, my dad would always read from the Bible, the birth of Jesus Christ. Particularly, I believe it was Mark, or it was either Matthew, it was either Mark or Luke.
Mm.
It was one of them. But that was our tradition. We'd always sit down, and coincidentally enough, Dad would read from the Jewish Bible. This was an old book, like thick, and he would always read from that. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And yeah, it I actually grew up Christian before my family started making the transition. My father is now a Messianic Jew, which is the one sect of Judaism that actually believes in Jesus Christ.
Huh.
There is a sect of Judaism that believes in Jesus Christ and believes that, as they refer to him, Yeshua Messiah, or Jesus the Messiah, came and died for their sins. The other Orthodox Jews believe that the Messiah has yet to come, but they refer to him as Yeshua, or the Messiah. It's another for it. So
okay, you learn something new every day.
that's why if you ever go into like a Jewish synagogue and it's a bunch of Orthodox Jews and you hear them say Yeshua, don't freak out because it sounds like they're saying Jesus. That's another term for Messiah. So
Okay. Well, I think I should read one at least. Ask questions if y'all want. Again, just leave your questions in the chat. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull up something. I've actually been looking at a lot of Christmas themed creepypastas for the upcoming week. So this one is actually just titled Christmas by Magic Magi. I hope, or Magi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope I pronounced it correctly in either one of those. My mom got herself Christmas gifts this year. She only told me about one. A really good kitchen knife. Oh, sorry. She only told me about one. A really good kitchen knife beforehand. The weird thing is that all the weird thing is the weird thing is that it's all kitchen supplies. She even bought a meat grinder. Why would she need that? I'm kind of pretty evil, as some adults have put it. So when Mum showed me the knife, I asked, "Ooh, who are you gonna cook with that?" She just laughed and said, "I haven't decided yet." Her and I really got, her and I really get each other's humor. When she opened the gifts I got her, she looked so happy. Her eyes lit up. That's why I love Christmas. Her tired eyes light up and she looks alive. But when she opened the gifts from herself, she just looked. I don't know, actually. She never smiled like that before. It scared me. The day after Christmas, she made the best burgers I've ever had. She saw how she said how she got to put the new equipment to use. I didn't really make that didn't really make sense to me. I understand the pan and spatula, but not the knife and meat grinder, which looked ready to be cleaned. So I asked her, "What's up with the burgers? What's in them that needed to be ground?" She calmly responded, "People." "No, Mom, I'm serious. Stop joking." "Honey, just go back to your room." She sounds upset. I just get my jacket and go through the back door. When I go outside, I'm hit by this strange smell coming from the basement. I, being the nosy teen I am, go to investigate. Downstairs, I find my father in pieces. The sad thing is that my first thought isn't, "Oh no, Dad." It's finally, it's finally that abusive drunk is gone. Then I just walk back upstairs and go to my room to watch YouTube. At least Dad was good for something. Thank you, Mum. That is one of those I plan on narrating sooner or later.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. And, there won't be that many mistakes. You all won't hear me go, like, these are the bloopers you don't hear. Like, if I make a mistake, there are a couple of I curse a lot. I curse a lot when reading. It's one of those days.
Google gobble, Google gobble.
Exactly. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. And I have to start all over, create a giant space in which I can just drag and drop. And it kills me.
It kills you.
Yes. Just about as much as Dad.
Dad, why? Why, Dad? Oh my god. I was going through my website again, looking for another story to possibly cover, and I found one that I wrote for a friend who requested it. She literally requested that I write a deranged story about a clown named Jiggles who liked to feed her captives guacamole, and if they didn't laugh, she would abuse them.
Um,
Oh my god. I have strange friends.
I don't judge.
Oh man. But it was actually requested by another narrator in this community. That was the thing. Like,
Nice.
so this story was a narrator's request, and I decided to do it. And my God, people enjoyed it on No Sleep. I don't understand why people loved it.
Wait, do you actually post your videos on No Sleep or no?
Oops. I never post videos, but occasionally, if a story seems like it'll fit No Sleep, I'll put it there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the story is called Giggles for Jiggles.
God, I've got like this feeling like something's caught my throat and I always have to like cough. Eh. But, I guess that comes with the territory of vaping. But who cares? Oh, hello, new viewer. How are you?
I don't
It.
really want to do a long one.
I'll do a long one if you want. I don't care. I'm looking for one as well, so don't worry.
If you want a long one that's kind of creepy in a lot of ways, I'll send you one that I'm looking at.
Okay.
It's called Stitches and Thread. It's one that I wrote
Oh, nice.
here. It's actually the kind of the origin story of one of the characters I have in my ongoing series, Volvox Chronicles.
Oh, wow.
This is a prequel to a prequel, in other words. The book that I'm writing is the prequel to the Volvox Chronicles, and it is a lot of the foreground for my Dark Pages from Darker Ages series. A lot of the stories are related to one another. Not all of them, but most are. And most are connected in one way or another. I decided I'm going to make a novel that serves as the precursors to it. And it's going to be so child friendly that I'm thinking about going to Scholastic with it once it's done. If I can get Scholastic to publish that, that would be fabulous. I'm going to have to actually pull some strings for that, though.
Hey, man, I'm wishing good, sending good looks, good vibes.
Yeah, it's a good story. I can give you a brief summary of what the book is supposed to be about.
Okay.
I'm not spoiling any major details. Believe me, there is a mind trip at the end of it, but I'm not going to spoil anything.
Well, those are fun.
Yeah. The book is about three investigators, two from Great Britain during the Victorian era, more specifically during the era of the Jack the Ripper murders, and one from America, whose name is Tom Sweeney. And his name is actually very important because of the train that he comes on and the reason why that train is so important. When he arrived on the scene to help with these two private investigators who were researching the Jack the Ripper murders, they brought in a new investigator from America to help in their case. And on the same train, they ended up bringing in some form of evil from Egypt. There was a casket being brought in from Egypt that, and this was during the time when the Egyptian craze was over. So no one was going to bat an eye if an Egyptian crate went through. It wasn't some big spectacle anymore for to see some stuff like that brought in on a train. The thing is that when they actually arrived there, there was an evil hidden within the casket, one that a certain boy in the city of England wanted to get a hold of. And sure enough, it unleashed a new evil upon the city of London. And it became a matter of time between the three investigators to not only track down this boy who turns out to be Jack the Ripper, to not only be Jack the Ripper, but the one organizing everything, and to stop him from releasing this evil upon London.
Oh, damn.
His character has a certain ability to himself that he would very greatly appreciate that he could use on something more powerful. Um, he is not only a master manipulator, he is a master puppeteer, as you will see if you read that story.
Right. The one you're writing or the Stitches and Thread?
Stitches and Thread.
Oh, okay.
That is the precursor to the book, or at least one of them.
Okay. Well, do you want to read one before I do?
Yeah, I suppose so. I'll read a poem, I guess. I don't know.
Take your time.
uh let's see here. I don't want it to be too long. I always hate long ones. They're just so boring to me. I don't know why. Here we go. I will be narrating Deep Breath. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. You can sense it in the air around you, but you can't seem to make it out. Breathe in. Breathe out. You can feel it just above you, looming, patiently waiting for an opportunity to pounce down on your cold flesh. Breathe in. Breathe out. It hangs over you like a cold, rough hand, its grip firm on your shoulder, pressing down, hoping that you choke. Breathe in, breathe out. His blade is just under your chin, ready to split your skin and spill your blood out on the pavement. A slow and cold death is what he likes to see. Breathe in, breathe out. Your skin becomes cold as ice as his blade caresses your skin, wiping its cold steel up against your exposed neck. Breathe in, breathe out. Escape from this is futile. What binds you more than the rope around your ankles and the rope around your feet is the presence that looms over you. Breathe in, breathe out. You can feel that now, can't you? You can feel his cold breath looming over your neck, his lips almost kissing your exposed flesh, turning what he breathes on into ice. Breathe in, breathe out. He switches to the other side, breathing slowly down your neck. His words stick in your mind, the last words you'll hear. I'm going to drain your life slowly. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel your blood rushing into your head. That is the effect of being killed by a cold-blooded killer. Nothing can help you escape, and nothing will thaw you out. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel your skin split. Feel the blood spurt out in a clumping fountain, blood falling slowly and painfully, your body beginning to go numb. In your final moment, just remember, take a deep breath, breathe in, and breathe out your last breath.
Nice. That one was good. I like that.
Oh yeah, I forgot I have my Pokemon game over here. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed that one.
No, it was good. I liked it.
The stitches and thread looks really good. I'm gonna actually read it for a narration, probably for the next year. But
Awesome.
I'll keep it on tabs.
Sounds good.
Oh no.
Oh no, Charlie. I'm sorry, I'm being a kid today.
No, it's fine. We all need it, so don't fret too much.
We all need a bit of enjoyment.
Yep. Jesus Christ, why is it now that I get tired? Like, I was wide awake before. I guess it's because where I'm like kind of lounged in my chair.
Yeah, I was taking a nap earlier. In fact, I almost completely fell asleep. I went into bed around 6 and then woke up just before your stream
Nice.
at like 8:50 something.
Hmm. Well, I mean, it's not that bad. Not that bad. I should have taken a nap prior to this, but I didn't. So therefore, I will deal with the sick consequences.
Maybe after this, it would be a good time to take a nap.
Oh yes, definitely. I'll probably go to sleep till tomorrow, till the next day. I don't want to make this too long. It'll probably just be like an hour and a half long. Probably 2 hours long. I don't want it to be too long because I have to call tomorrow for work and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I have one called A Christmas Creepypasta.
Oh, I didn't realize we were supposed to be doing Christmas ones.
Oh, I don't care. I mean,
If I,
read whatever you want.
I mean, Deep Breath was good because it was supposed to be like cold and chilling. That works. But the other one, no.
Okay, no, never mind. I will not read this because it is long, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to read it. Maybe for another time.
I would have you read one of my stories, but the one I'm thinking of is too long. It's The Immortal Doll Shop of Stockholm, and that one's too long. It's very creepy, and it has a very Christmassy vibe to it.
Nice.
But it's not one that that I recommend right now.
Hey, Immunity, how are you?
Hey, Immunity, nice to see you. Welcome back, Meow.
Welcome back, Meow. Um, just before I get into the story that is not a Christmas creepypasta, but it's different because that one was too long. I'm gonna keep things pretty short. Um, if you want to ask questions, feel free to um, just leave it in the chat. If we're doing narrations or whatnot, you can always just leave it in the chat and we'll come back to it, okay? All right. Without further ado, Christmas lights. My name is Luke, and I used to have a best friend. Her name was Haley. We were both in 8th grade at the time. She always smelled like lilacs and was obsessed with Ouija boards. It wasn't like she was goth or anything. She just liked Ouija boards. I do admit that it was a pretty fun game to play, especially with Haley. She loved ghosts ever since her grandmother died 2 years ago. Like I said, she's a perfectly normal girl, though. She liked rainbows, kittens, and bunnies. Her favorite holiday, Christmas, was coming up, and like any other girl, she was eagerly anticipating baking Christmas cookies and decorating the tree. She was perfectly normal. It was the last day of school before winter break. I sat with Haley at lunch. Her parents were out of town, and she invited me over to bake Christmas cookies later. I told her I needed to do my homework first, but would be over later. Bring. The bell cut our conversation short. Haley smiled at me before turning her back and walking to our next class. If only I had known that would be one of the last times she smiled at me. But I didn't. Instead, I just turned and walked the other way to my next class. I went over to Haley's later that day to bake cookies and decorate the tree. Everything was fine. We had fun singing Christmas tunes and decking the halls. Haley loved Christmas lights and soon became infatuated with the string of red pentagram-like stars. She used them to decorate the mantle. That image is burned into the back of my mind. I went home after that to settle in and watch some Netflix. I ate some Cheez-Its and watched Stranger Things. Suddenly, my phone started to ring. It was Haley. I answered it. Red, said a strangled voice. When I arrived at Haley's later that day, I rang the doorbell several times with no answer. After having waited for 16 minutes exactly, I grabbed the key underneath the welcome mat. As I opened the door, I saw blood dripping onto the living room carpet. I hurried inside, only to look up and see Haley dangling from her chandelier via the same string of red Christmas lights that she had been obsessed with only hours earlier. I also saw her Ouija board sitting below her, cut into the shape of a star and stained with Haley's blood. I then noticed her cell phone lying in a pool of blood below her. To this day, I don't know how Haley got up there. I never saw a ladder or anything. It is the unsolved murder of Haley LaRae Hansen, my best friend.
It's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I liked that one. And I hope you guys did too.
That one was interesting for sure. I'm just trying to think of like what could have actually done it.
It could have been anything. Could have been that spooky old man Jenkins living in the basement.
Old Man Jenkins. Never trust Old Man Jenkins.
Never trust old man Jenkins. Well, I think we'll probably do one or two more. If you all have any other questions, feel free, again, to leave them in the chat. Oh, wait.
It was the hash slinging slasher.
Oh, no. Yeah,
no.
Like I said, leave questions, and if you have any questions, leave them in the chat. We'll definitely get to them as soon as we can. Do you have another one ready or no?
Me?
Yeah.
I have a library of things I've written.
Again, it doesn't matter if it's Christmas themed or not. I'll probably save like a whole bunch of Christmas themed later for probably Christmas Eve if I'm not doing anything. Or Christmas Day, who knows? I may do one on Christmas. I don't know.
I'll do one that's really short. And it's kind of sad, honestly. Because it's just.
Hey, Creep Files, how are you doing?
Oh, hi, Creep Files. Let me get that story for you real quick. The one that I mentioned before.
Okay. And while he's doing that, Creep, if you have any questions for me specifically, or if you have questions for Rainer or both of us, feel free to leave them in the chat. We'll go ahead and get those taken care of.
Well, I'll be darned. I wrote this a year ago.
Damn.
A year ago to the day. I've written a lot, yet it doesn't feel like much. At least not to me. 2017 wasn't as productive as 2016 was, I believe. There's always more time to do more. For a second, I thought it wasn't going to actually let me read this thing because it tossed me back a few pages. Do you want one that's more festival based?
It doesn't really matter to me. If you want to read, if you want to go ahead and read whatever you want, I'm up for anything.
Well, this is a true black-eyed children story.
Okay.
All right, here we go. My grandmaster, who was born and raised in Seoul, South Korea, once told me of his experience as a child with black-eyed children, and it was more disturbing than I could have ever imagined. He was about 9 years old and was out with his family at a festival in Seoul. He was passing by some carts that held fireworks, toys, and food, and as he was passing by some of the festival carts and stands, he noticed two children from an alleyway some distance from him, a boy and a girl. Two children with black eyes were staring back at him, just out of full view. He was distracted by them momentarily, but his parents urged him onward through the festival area. Later that night, he noticed something outside of the door to his room where he slept. The same two black-eyed children had been watching him intently. He stared at them for quite some time before blinking and realizing they had vanished. The next night went by and he saw them again, but further away this time, hiding in some nearby bushes. Once again he stared at them until they left. On the third day he stared out, expecting to see them, but never did. He closed his eyes and fell asleep, thinking it was over. But on the fourth night, the children had arrived at his doorstep again, and they were angry. "Why did you not look for us? Do you not like us?" He responded to them out of fear and said, "I could not see you." The children each responded separately to him. The boy, who once spoke first, spoke again, and then the girl did as well. "Well, now you see us, and now you don't." My master went to bed that night thinking that it would all be over for him if he could not find them again the next night. But they never came back. He waited up several nights after, but they never returned. He remembers this story to this very day, not only because of his own experiences, but because of the experiences he heard from those who were at the festival he went to that year, and those who didn't return the next. There's a tradition amongst the black-eyed children of Seoul. They choose a few children at each great festival to watch, and if the children do not watch for them or look for them at night, they will never be seen again, likely doomed likely doomed to become black-eyed children themselves. The warning he left to me, and to anyone else for that matter, who reads or hears this story is this: avoid making eye contact with the black-eyed children in the first place, because the night you will no longer see them, no one else will ever see you again. That's it.
Nice. That is a great story. All right. Let's
That
see.
one,
Oh, go ahead.
that one is true.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen any black-eyed children.
Me neither. I've seen a chupacabra and I kicked its ass.
Never seen one of them either.
It tried to bite me. It kept on trying to bite me and wouldn't leave me alone, so I kicked it. I felt bad afterwards, but I mean, I don't want to get mange or whatever it had.
Right.
Needless to say, it went flying, kind of like a soccer ball. I never saw it again. Are there any K-pop fans in here? I'm not as much of a fan of K-pop as I probably should be, but I do enjoy a bit of K-pop every now and then.
Yeah, same here. It's not particularly my cup of tea, but I can listen to it.
Oh, Creep Files is asking who's in the chat.
Meow, Lizzie, Immunity. She may have gone. Yeah, I think that's it.
I think he's referring to us in the voice chat.
Oh. It's just me and Rainer Lewington. Why does my controller keep falling?
I have no idea.
Over here you go. And it just kind of slid deeper into the box. Lovely.
Oh boy.
No, I can still reach it. It's no big deal.
So, what will be the last story you narrate for this evening, unless you want to go for one more?
I will probably do one more and talk a little bit more and probably close it out. All right, so let me see if we can get this taken care of.
You sound like you're about to administer a new drug.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, how else will I deliver the cure?
That's true. The cure to life itself.
It comes with the territory, you know. Okay. Alrighty then.
It's the cure to life itself.
Yeah, I wish.
I was always told that the cure to life was a bullet to the head, and I never talked to that person again.
Probably for the best.
Probably. Feel that vape.
Yep. Heidi Mage Patrick Finn arrived home from his Christmas conquests, beating out the snowstorm by mere miles, mere minutes. He felt not only the foreboding presence of a hazardous blizzard, but also that of something else, something darker. It felt as if it resonated not only within his soul, but also within the souls of those around him, within the very ground itself. Patrick had never bothered to check, but he was sure that beneath the grass and soil of Winter Harbor, Maine, therein hungered a gaping mouth
or chasm yearning for the flesh of the innocent, and anchored to the physical world only by a desire to seem normal. It had not yet been appeased because the residents of Winter Harbor were all but innocent. Patrick had moved to Winter Harbor, hoping to escape the despondency and despair he had felt in his hometown, Belmont, Maine. So far, these feelings had only amplified, magnified by both the wintry death that he felt tiptoeing into the town's midst and the lingering scent of paint that seemed to permeate every building in the city. It was as if the town was constantly being repainted in some sort of half-hearted attempt to cover something up. Still, he felt it necessary to stay, so as not to make matters worse for his wife, whom he barely saw anymore, and his son, who always seemed so distant. He and his wife were going through a rife time in their marriage, and their son was feeling its effects. It was akin to what one may feel after a tumultuous earthquake. Patrick felt that he had to make it up to his son, so he went out and bought him the most expensive and extravagant thing he could get his hands on this late in the shopping season: a brand new video game system. He had assured his son that even though he had acted out often this year, Santa would bring him something good. Throughout these charades, Patrick felt empty at the prospect of shopping for a boy that he knew nothing about, a boy whose existence was forgotten every so often. On the eve of Christmas, Patrick arrived home before the snowstorm and quickly crept into the garage to wrap the present and place it under the tree. It was in this garage that he often felt abrupt changes, as if within its small space it contained secrets beyond human comprehension. The musky smell of the old holiday decorations, coupled with the omnipresent scent of fresh paint, varnish, and gasoline, all seemed to meld into one personified force, whispering sweet nothings to Patrick as he exited his car. This caused him to shudder heavily, as if beset by a fit of delirium tremens. I believe that was supposed to say tremors, but okay. He shrugged off the dull headache and dry mouth before quickly and sloppily wrapping the gift. Following this, he slipped it under the tree and began to creep upstairs. He couldn't help but grimace at the thought that he was as far from Santa as humanly possible. As he reached the top of the landing, Patrick glanced over the clock. It read 11:49. He stood there, as if to wait for some fleeting childhood feeling that many accompany the arrival of Christmas. It did not come, as he soon found, nor did cheery music, nor the scent of evergreens and cookies. Just deafening silence and that damnable scent of paint. It was everywhere, inescapable. The arrival of yet another disappointing Christmas struck Patrick like a blow to the face. He fell to his knees and then subsequently onto his stomach. He couldn't tell if he had passed out or not. Suddenly, a loud sound of his son's room jarred Patrick awake. He quickly got up and stumbled into the room. The popping sound he heard made him wonder what made it. And when he finally found out, He was confused even further. A large, black humanoid, adorned with goat horns, and a tongue that writhed like a snake, stood before him, clutching his son. Patrick stood dumbfounded, seemingly incapable of recognizing not only the creature, but anything else before him. "What do you want?" Patrick asked. Innately, he knew that the creature wanted something. The creature smiled, licking his lips. "Thine tender fruit, not spoiled by the worms of new, but by the tree that bore it, ripened not into ambrosia, but a rotten, hollow core." Patrick stared at the creature. Sweat began to collect on his brow. He felt as if his brain itself had been lit afire. He couldn't breathe. I can't say I understand," Patrick stammered out. The creature smiled again. "Not by love of a dying star can a planet be adorned, but by the eruption of its most sacred peaks. I desire the treasures from which you hope to find salvation. The gift to your boy. It is a gift from me now." Patrick couldn't understand why the creature would want the game system, but he felt it necessary to give it up. He quickly bolted downstairs, grabbed the box, and clutching it tight, he sprinted back up to his son's room. The creature, upon his arrival, thrust Patrick's son onto the floor and held out one long, beckoning hand. As Patrick handed over the present, he couldn't help but feel as if it were Faust himself exchanging an eternity for one single moment of gratification. The creature licked its lips once more and disappeared in the time it took Patrick to blink. When he was sure he was alone, Patrick fell to his knees and wrapped his arms around his son. He expected a "thank you" and "I love you" something. He heard nothing. He looked down. He found that his son was withering away, becoming the very shadows that inhabited the night around him. Patrick knew that moment that he was entirely alone, swallowed finally by the chasm beneath his feet. He stumbled to the garage before sitting down, embracing his solitude and his communion with the musky smell of paint that seemed to beckon invitingly. That I loved. That one was good.
Yeah, it was.
How's it going, Pink? I will have to narrate all those stories. Jesus Christ.
You didn't record them?
No, I did not.
That would have been a great thing to do.
That would have, but hindsight is always 2020.
I thought about recording some of the ones that I had, and I thought ahead about it, but I was too lazy to actually open up Logic Pro.
Yeah, I used Audacity, and it worked lovely on it. So hindsight is always 2020. So therefore, I can't really complain. I should have, but I didn't.
It was the first thing I thought of, but I was like, maybe I already thought of it.
Nope. Guess who's going to be worrying about that later? This guy. This guy got 2 thumbs ready to go. I'll probably do that later. I'll probably do that tomorrow if they don't need me at UPS. Chances are that's a high likelihood.
I'm trying to get a job.
Eh,
Man.
yeah, me too. I'm trying to get a good job that actually has something sustainable, but
Yeah.
shit happens.
Yes, it does.
Alrighty then. Well, I do hope you all enjoyed this. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you, Rainer, for accompanying me and doing some narrations. I greatly appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. It was glorious. I'm going to let you all go so you all can go to sleep. I'm probably going to be doing the same because I'm rather tired. Thank you all for coming to this appointment. I do greatly appreciate it. And let's hope for another 100 more. As always, like, comment, subscribe for the cure. Click the bell icon if you haven't already. If you all have any questions, any other concerns, you all can always leave it on this video. So that way so that way I know, so that way I can do another Q&A video, hopefully later on in the future. Until then, my name is Dr. Creepypasta. Stay safe and enjoy the cure.